The views expressed in this episode are the opinions of the cast members and do not represent the views of the United States Navy or the United States government, shipmate. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this episode of What the Navy. Today's topic is going to be something that it's relevant to today and past events. This episode's airing on 9/11, and today's episode is mainly going to be dedicated to just our memories, our feelings, and just general talking about what we felt on 9/11. So this episode will either be a very short one or go to the full length of an hour. You'll see at the end. We'll find out. So let's get to it. Chief, you've been around a little longer than me, so I know you have some conscious memory of 9/11. I'll let you start first.
Yeah, I do. I don't think we're that far apart.
Nah, probably a couple years.
She's like, I'm not that old.
He refuses to let me. Huh?
What grade were you in?
Sixth.
Sixth? Okay. So I was in 10th grade. Mr. Menugo's history class, Bayside High School, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Miss Menugo was an English teacher, and she ran into the classroom crying. Real sad. Obviously, no one knew what was going on. You know, she shared a couple words with her husband, and he turned the TV on, and it was just replaying the first plane going through the first tower. And we were all like, what the heck is going on? What is this? I think at the time, like, no one knew what was going on. Like, it was an accident, the plane happened to crash into the towers, and it was a tower, and it was just nuts. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, we watched it long enough to see the second plane fly into the first tower, and that was nuts. And we weren't in school that long. Wow, this was 20 years ago. Wow. Almost 20 years ago. This was 19 years ago. We weren't in school for that long, but I guess my most vivid memory is on September 11th, 2001 and we had just moved into the house that we were living in. So we didn't have much. We didn't have much furniture and stuff. So the TV was in my mom's room, and I was in high school. I was in 10th grade. So, I was the first to get home, and like I sat as a 10th grader, like 14 years old, 15 years old. I sat for hours in my mom's room, just in front of the TV, just all types of thoughts in my head. And by then, they had speculated that it was terrorist activity. But just to see something so clear and detailed, and remembering seeing like people falling to their deaths, and just, I don't know, I remember putting myself in people's shoes, and to see, the first tower go down, and then the second tower go down, and then it was crazy. It was just a surreal experience. Um, I wasn't at the age where, you know, I wanted to join the military and get back at this and that. It was my the memories that I remember is just being scared, you know, just feeling scared at 13, 14 years old, just feeling vulnerable because like my nation was vulnerable, I'm vulnerable, my family's vulnerable, and just thinking thoughts of things being unprecedented, um, thinking of how things will never be the same, you know, kind of like COVID-19, not really, but yeah, it was just nuts. So I was old enough, I was a high school student. Um, so it's still pretty clear. I can't tell you where I was at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But yeah, I remember Mr. Renugo's class. I remember kids, like, there wasn't anyone talking. Like, obviously there wasn't anyone making jokes about anything. And then just sitting in front of the TV all day. And then, the days after that, it was just a crazy experience. So
Thank you, Chief. So I kind of let Davis talk a little bit before I actually did the intro. Davis, did you want me to use that cut, or you want to do it again?
I could talk about it again.
Go for it.
I wasn't old enough to remember. I was born in 98. I was only like 2, 3 years old when it happened. But I remember learning about it in school, and like my teacher showed a video clip from like the news channel, and like clips from like when people would post what they got on like their view or like their angle and stuff of everything. And that day when she showed us the clip in class, like pretty much the whole class, like we all cried. Like even though it happened so long ago, like we all cried and we could only feel, and especially because we could visually see people jumping out of the building. Like it was like that's like over 30 feet. Like I don't know how many floors the twin towers were, but I know it's for sure over 40. And that was like the craziest thing to see, and actually see people jumping to their deaths and stuff. And then when we saw the second plane coming and hit in the video, that was like so devastating. And like everybody in our classroom, we were like all bawling our eyes out. So I can only imagine like being like seeing it when it actually happened, and like being there when it actually happened. Like I can only imagine what those families and stuff were going through, or what were going through the minds of the people that were jumping off of the building. Like they rather like jump off because they probably in their mind they knew like we're gonna die anyways. I don't want to burn because the building was on fire. Like the floors that were under them were on fire, so they're like they didn't want to burn. And one of my teachers, a previous year after that, the following year after that, when we went over it again, one of my teachers informed that one of the twin towers, it actually had a daycare center on the first floor, but the daycare center had already, they were already gone. But I'm like, wow, there was a daycare center there too for like the parents who had to bring their kids like to work and stuff, kind of like how we do, like in close proximity for like military personnel. So I'm like, I just cannot imagine. Like I cannot not imagine like the devastation. Like I can never like fully grasp like this happened. Like if I was there, I probably would have thought like we're about to go into war or something. That would have been my first fear. Like that's why I never like watching the news in general, is because like the things that you see on the news that you probably would never have heard if you didn't like watch the news or something, or if it didn't go around in videos or anything. They just scare me. So like for the longest, I never watched the news ever. because I'm like, I don't want to hear about the devastation that's going on. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Thank you, Davis. It's my turn, and so 9/11, I was sitting in it was a social studies history class. We were covering ancient Egypt, and I was tracing out the hieroglyphs because that's what the teacher wanted us to do. That's when I started to notice that teachers were coming in and taking students out, and they weren't coming back. And eventually, the teachers explained to us what was going on, but because they could not take me out or my brother. So we sat there the whole day. We were in school all day, and when we got home finally, bus was completely. It was a ghost town. There was like 5 kids on that bus. Me, my brother, and my brother's friend, and maybe a couple other people. Don't really remember all the details on that. What I do remember is walking into my house, the TV screen with the towers going down, and my mother sitting there crying. First thing I could think of when I saw that was, how do I make these people pay for making my mother cry? Now, I want to say that's the start of when I wanted to join the military, because I wanted to get revenge on these people. But as I've gotten older, I've matured a little bit and determined that was probably a bad idea, and it's a good thing I couldn't join right away. But yeah, so my strongest memory is seeing my mother cry because those towers went down. We're gonna end this episode early, and I would like everybody who watches or listens to pray for the families and the families of the victims of 9/11. Pray for the public servants, the police, the fire department in New York City, and all the others that came to participate to help. And I would also like you to pray for the servicemen and women, men and women, wow, that are out in the front lines fighting these bastards. Because we don't want them on our soil again. And with that, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. Please give us a like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you can catch all of our episodes as they're uploaded or when we do it live.
If you would like to be a part of the show, have a topic that you would like covered, feel free to email us at whatthenavy@gmail.com or leave us a comment below. Thank you for watching this episode.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. The men who died, who gave